All right, let's try the Gravely axis with my my vibratory plow. I may have to make new lines. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make new lines if it works. Got grease on it. Alright, now I haven't ran this hardly at all, so I'm probably going to be jerky on it. But we're going to put this on the same pin height as I had the Toro. And it's with the blade all the way up. Okay, that's about 12 or 13 inches right there. We'll go over here in my field. It's the day after we plowed the other one. Haven't had any rain or anything to soften it up. Different area, but we're gonna go see what it does. And it is a steeper hill than what we did the other day. see where we can get you guys. The sun's kind of in a bad position. Okay. I don't know. That'll get us pretty good. Okay, you're probably going to see me stop and fiddle with it. I'm going to go ahead and try out a couple different settings. And I may come up and down and do it, you know, different times. But I'm going to see what setting I like with the hydraulic flow and the track. Okay, besides me fiddling with it, I mean, it plowed pretty good. I put it on on B. I put it on B, 60% more to the auxiliary hydraulics, and then I've got the hydraulics turned all the way up instead of the track stuff. But it didn't bog. Like, it pulled it fine. It was just a little slow. Obviously, when we were going, that was probably it was probably faster than the dingo going up the hill when I was plowing with the dingo. But the dingo, I couldn't hardly plow with it. It wanted to kill it. So I'm going to do a test. I'm going to drop the blade down one more notch, make it deeper. I'm going to put it in the ground, see if it pulls it the same. I moved over. This is where I was, right here. So I moved over about 3 or 4 feet, same ground, same hill, same everything. But I'm going to make the blade go down probably another 4.5 inches. I'm going to put it in the ground. I'm limited on how much I can tilt it because the lines go to the other side of the machine. I need longer lines, which totally makes sense because I just went to the hydraulic shop today to get lines for my thumb. So that makes 100% sense. But we'll just have to go get longer lines made. But I'm going to drop it down. And if it pulls it the same, then I'm going to go ahead and get on the flat here, and I'll pull it to the camera, and then I'm going to pull on the flat. It's slightly downhill, but not much. And I want to see if the tracks speed up a little bit. That way I can tell if it's because I'm going uphill, if it's a little slower or what. When I put it in A, well, I can just show you. Here's B, and you can see the shaker shake. So there's an obvious difference. All right, let's do this little test. I want to see what it does when I lower the blade. Okay, it didn't like it a whole lot, but that part of the blade, I didn't think about it, is not sharpened. It's blunt. So that added depth, plus I've got a pretty good size, you know, homemade bullet on there. I've got a piece of 2x2 square tubing. It's 1/4 inch thick, and then it has a piece of 1.25 inch or something round bar. It's not really a good point. I think I might actually cut this off and just put a piece of round bar on it, but I didn't have any round bar, and I had square tubing, so it got square tubing. But that's probably 16 inches in the ground, which is quite a bit to plow. It's a 3/8 thick blade with a 2x2 piece of square tubing on the bottom. So if you plow stuff, you kind of know. I'm wondering, this is an awfully big motor. I'm wondering if I got a smaller motor with the same RPM, if I could actually make this shake better, because it doesn't shake really well on this machine, even on the high flow. You know, even with the most of it going to the attachment. Let's put it all to the attachment, and we can do that. This is all the way to the hydraulics. It is A1 or AI or something. Throttle that up. Okay, so when you put everything to the hydraulics, it shakes as hard as it did on the Toro and like on ditch witches and stuff like that. So maybe we need a smaller motor. I'd like to try my buddy's ditch witch shaker box and see how it does on it, because I've always thought that this Toro takes a fair amount of flow to run. I'm gonna move the blade back up. I'm gonna do it on the flat right here, and let's see what that does. Just to see, because we're here and it's on the machine, and we'll see what happens. Well, let me tell you, on the flat, it's smooth. It plows really good. It plows consistent. It'll just plow the same speed. It may be just a touch slower going up the hill, but this is a pretty good grade. Now, you can't always plow going downhill, at least the way I do it. I've kind of learned from Corey. Corey's taught me about everything I know about irrigation, and the way he does it, it works out extremely well. So I'll keep plowing that way. I do really think that this thing would probably run a ditch witch shaker box a lot better. I might actually try to get his. I don't know if I can get it this weekend, but man, if I could get it this weekend and try it out, that would tell me a whole bunch. I do have a 3/8 blade. It's about 5 inches wide. I just made that blade. I've got a whole crap load of 3/8 AR 400 that I got from a steel shop. I I think it would help doing a little bit different bullet. I don't know if the square bullet is the way to go. Obviously, I don't have much of a point. I kind of made a mistake on when I was cutting it, and I cut it the second time too shallow, and so I've got like a little blunt, weird little tip. But I've got it fully welded, everything else, but it wouldn't hurt me to cut that and then weld another piece of round bar to the bottom or something like that. Maybe it'd pilot through there a little easier. Like I say, I really think that these Toro boxes take a little more horsepower to shake than a Ditch Witch box. I don't know, you guys can tell me, but that's trying out the Gravely axis with a vibratory plow. That's kind of a demanding attachment. It's kind of like a trencher and stuff. I think these are worse than a trencher because you're having to use tractive force to pull the blade through the ground, and you're also having to shake the box, which usually takes a fair amount. Like I say, we may be able to get a smaller motor. I might have to look into that. I don't know. I'll have to make a phone call to my guru. I have a hydraulic guru that does a lot of stuff with mulchers and all that, and I'm gonna talk to him, see what he thinks, see if he thinks if I drop a cc or two, probably 2 cc's on it, motor size, if it's gonna affect a whole lot. But if we can get the same RPMs, I think it would be fine. I don't know. I have no idea what this distribution diverter deal's got going on. I think that's so you can't run it backwards, but that might actually be taking some flow. Let's see, this is probably line in because return's going there, so line in's going through a valve, comes up here, whatever's not used I would assume is the feed. I don't know what the feed and what the not feed is up there, what the return is, but I would assume this is our return. Anyways, I don't know how restrictive that is. Maybe I take that off and it would be a little easier to run, but like I say, it runs it the way it is. It would be nice if it was a little quicker, but I'm not that worried about it. Bang for the buck, $25,000. You got to remember, this machine's 25 grand instead of the closest thing. I don't know, look at a Dingo, a TX700. I asked the rep what those were, and he said they're sniffing on $40,000. Well, it's the same thing as this. Horsepower wise, weight wise, size wise ish, lift capacity.